This is game number 3, and we are on Zelnaga cameras on the bottom left, spawning as our yellow Protoss. He is known as
Korean commentator,
the one, the only
Creator Prime V.
I love how that sound effect kind of matched with it. The warp in, ascendance kind of a vibe.
Creator.
Creator Prime. Yes, and up here on the top right, our Zerg player, he is
OGS Luvsic.
I love that whistle so much.
Kisada's just regretting doing that.
Why did I do this?
I could have been playing League of Legends.
Pulling a bit of Mystery Science Theater up here.
OGS Luvsic, also known as OGS J.
Yep.
Koreans love changing their names.
Koreans love spelling love incorrectly as well. Luvsic. Yes. So, Gisado, he plays League of Legends.
He plays everything.
Oh yeah, everything. What if he played a bit of Command & Conquer too? Oh yeah, I was bringing that up earlier. So, both me and Torch played a bunch of Command & Conquer back in the day. Well, not a bunch. I did, not you.
I played for like 2 months.
Yeah, but still enough for me to talk about it.
That game was not nearly as good as StarCraft. I don't think any game's as good as StarCraft.
Yeah, so when, back when I was 12, I played Brood War and I played Red Alert, but Red Alert got to me first, so I never actually did get into Brood War, sadly.
Red Alert was a very good game.
It was an amazing game, but when I was 12 years old, went to that PC bong in the Philippines. Yeah, I started playing StarCraft, and I built a refinery, and I was wondering, why is my economy not coming to me automatically? Then I completely thought the game was terrible and stopped playing for like 10 years. But then the beta came out when Command & Conquer died, and I'm here casting StarCraft 2, and oh, do I love it. Such a beautiful game.
I miss the days of Warcraft 1 where you had to build roads for all your buildings.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
you had to connect them, so it's like some kind of like power grid thing.
It was like SimCity plus Warcraft 2 combined.
Yeah, I kind of imagine that happening with Command & Conquer 2 because they had a power system. How are they getting power? There's no lines. But here in StarCraft, you can just like say they have batteries or the pylon. Or they're Zerg, they don't need power. They eat minerals or whatever they do with that stuff.
So these first Zerglings that come out are fanning out across the map. They're not going to do any sort of early aggression. What they're going to do is they're going to be scouting for any sort of proxy pylons, any sort of proxy gateways. He wants to be sure that he's not going to get cheesed in this game. Because they've all played a lot of games on this map, it is very common for people in a tournament setting to pull out a different strategy that their opponent may not have seen before. Especially in a situation like this where it is 1-1, nerves are going to be a huge issue in this game.
Game 3 is quite the stressful situation, especially in a best of 3 where this is pretty much a best of 1 in this specific scenario. First Zergling does come up, and will he get taken out? Ooh, another barely alive Zergling from Luvsic, and still no units killed. Very nice. I love it when, like, I really wonder how long a game can go without a single kill. Really just want to, like, just keep that up one day, maybe put it into, like, a record book one day, you know?
I think that would be a very uninteresting game, unfortunately.
Uninteresting game? I don't know. Like, if every unit goes down to like 2 HP, that could be the most amazing game ever. Like the most immaculate micro. But yeah, really sincerely doubt that. And if I wonder if there is an actual.
It'd be a pretty nice use map settings game, actually.
Oh, where you get rewarded for how little.
Well, no, you lose the game as soon as the first unit is lost.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that would be an interesting use map setting. Get on it, guys.
Alright, so we do have a lot of Zerglings coming in here from the right. They're going to be able to take down this expansion very, very quickly. But they are actually going to move past it. They're going to try. Oh, they do get a lot of them in. They're going to be able to take down some of these sentries here. That Zealot is going to be able to hurt, going to be able to keep them out. And the sentries are sacrificing themselves to throw down a force field and prevent these Zerglings from getting in. However, they are going to force a cancel here on this Nexus. It's going to be great for Luvsic to do.
Nice.
And he is going to try to come in here again. He's going to be able to take out a lot of these probes. I don't know why that Protoss army moved down from the ramp. It is going to suicide itself. The Zerglings might actually be able to run up this ramp and finish this game right here and now. They do get further up. Yes. There is one more force field on the field.
Oh, he needs to focus on that one, though. Yes, he does get that one. Another sentry does fall. Amazing he's able to get these many killed, and he makes his way into the main two.
The last Zergling getting in, not going to be able to do any damage, but he does scout that Stargate, so Luvsic is going to be able to get the exact counter that he wants to do. It looks like he's getting a Roach Warren up here, so he might actually just go for the all-in, ignore the air units that are going to be fighting, and just go for the kill. Excuse me.
So many dudes were taken out. Go on.
Another Queen coming in, so he will be able to defend long enough to survive. He might not be able to defend if he gives Creator a bit of time to get up a large air force, but those roaches can kill things very, very quickly. So even if the Void Ray is shooting at them, it doesn't matter. You're going to lose a few roaches, but you're going to be able to win the game, so it's worth the trade right there.
Yep, so regardless of seeing that Stargate or not, he is still going with the roaches. Yeah, actually using a couple of Zerglings here to prevent that that Nexus from going up there too. Looking at the Harvester count now, we do see 26 to 33 in favor of our Zerg player Luvsic, so that economy looking pretty good. And yeah, there's the Queens out on the map, and he's actually spreading creep between bases, which is quite essential, especially if you are getting up against a Protoss with that Stargate ability, or rather with the structure, period.
Yeah, so Luvsic being actually very smart here. He does have the tech up to be able to get an army to do a counterattack if he wants to, but he's choosing to get a layer instead of go for the all-in. Sending out the Zerglings to make sure he keeps the pressure on at home, keeps that Void Ray away for a few more seconds so he can get a bit more defenses against the air.
Hey, that's just nice there, just going right past the Void Ray. A little bit of damage does the one Zergling, but it's just one Zergling, right? And even microing that guy to the back so it gets the least amount of attack, or at least isn't the first one to get shot up there. But anyway, those Zerglings are in the group there, doing a bit of damage to the next side, or Nexus rather, and
so Creator does bring this Void Ray home. He doesn't want to take any extra damage. He knows he's behind, but he's not out of the game quite yet.
And here comes the real Phoenix moving on by, so we'll scout the tech going on here. We'll see the Roach Horn.
He's also scouting the Queen numbers so he can know should he continue going air or should he transition into something else. The Nexus does go down completely, so he can start mining from this. He has 5 sentries, so he will be able to defend against at least one attack from the Zerg player.
Yeah, very nice so far from just how this is working out so far for Creator. Give this hold off on what's going on. Did not die. That's always good. But yeah, we will see that Forge finish up in a couple seconds here. We'll see what he decides to do with it. Maybe drop some photons or whatever have you. Luvsic now going for his third as he's killing off the rocks at this moment.
Yeah, and Creator did lose a lot of sentries early on, so Luvsic knows that he's going to be pretty starved for gas. Without so much gas, he's not going to be able to produce a second Stargate and get a lot of air units. So he's not feeling too threatened by this Air Force that's coming out.
In the second base, great force field there. Trying to get a single kill, focusing on the one sentry. Sentry does maintain life, and we'll just be quite happy.
And while the Zerglings didn't do any actual damage, they did force 2 force fields, which is actually pretty key. When you move into the Roach Hydra army, those force fields are really the only thing that can force you back. Hydras do a ton of damage, and they can really DPS a Protoss army very, very quickly. But Luvsic is actually choosing to go for this gold base here. He knows he has the superior army. He knows he has the Zerglings, forcing Creator to stay in his base, so he is able to be very, very greedy with his economy.
Zerglings once again move in, not too much damage done. He does spot the gateways there in a nice position. Will create a longer distance travel into getting into the main. And Luvsic has thrown down his third hatchery and is also creeping on out too. You see a few Hydras here. He does have +1 to missile attacks, so he's got no real heavy damage. And looks like we have a Twilight Council now warping in.
The Twilight Council is going down, so Creator is going to start to be able to get these upgrades, but they might come in a little too soon, too late, because there's only 4 gateways on the field. He's not going to be able to get a really strong gateway army, and once this third gets up from Luvsic, Luvsic's going to be able to stream in Zerglings, Roaches, and upgraded Hydras very, very quickly, and that overwhelming force might just be too much for Creator to be able to defend against.
Yeah, looks like Creator did break down a rock formation, breaking into his fourth base location. There are some Zerglings there, and he does spot that those rocks were taken out. He can know his opponent probably will expand quite shortly. There's that one Zergling there too, just in case a single probe set out and clones him. He's just going to block it right up. But look at that too. We also got Blink Research being worked on, as well as weapons for ground level 2.
And we do have the robotics facility going down for Creator. If he is able to defend this for long enough, he might be able to get the units out that will be able to defend against this Zerg army. Zerg is being a little too defensive. We saw a little bit of a mistake like that in the GSTL from last week, where a player that was ahead actually gave his opponent a bit of time, and that allowed his opponent to come back in the game and eventually win it. But these Zerglings are being very aggressive to make sure that that can't happen quite as easily.
Yeah.
They aren't able to take down the Nexus, but they know the timing of it. They know when to make that counterattack.
Yeah, this isn't Command & Conquer 3. If you get ahead, there's a chance your opponent could still, in the end, come out ahead of you. So anyway, we are seeing Luvsic right now creeping on down and actually mobilizing a ton of these Hydralisks actually, with the Roaches as well. moving on slowly down. Creator doesn't have any info about this at all. There was that one Zelnaga Watchtower Pro, but it got taken out quite soon. But yeah, looking at the army supply right now, quite immense, 105 to 48. Just talking about army at the moment.
Well, there is about to be an attack going on right here in the natural. The Zerglings did force the Protoss army to be away from the main, but these force fields are going to go down and force a lot of those Hydralisks not to be in the fight right now. The lone Void Ray does go down, but these Hydras are doing a ton of damage.
Both players from +1 right now to the ground weapons doing a ton of damage. But yeah, Luvsic looking pretty nice. There's some blinking going on here. A little bit of blink micro. Sentry hasn't been able to throw down too much. And there it is, the GG, and Luvsic is victorious.
OGSJ, also known as Luvsic, beat Ganzi in the qualifier, is going to move on to the round of 16 in GSL Code A July.
That is real nice. So this is one of those scenarios where you lose the first game and come back in the next two. And yeah, you got to feel so good after that. I know I would. So yeah, Luvsic doing it real well with the roaches, with the hydras. I just love that composition, man. It reminds me of the beta so much.
Yeah, that composition from the Zerg player does a ton of damage. If the Protoss player is not prepared for it, it's really very, very difficult to defend against. And the key loss in that game was that early initial fight with those Zerglings. The Zerglings did a lot more damage than they should have to the Zealot and the Sentries. It forced Creator to get a lot more Sentries than you really wanted to in that game, which ties up the gas that you really want to put into the tech, especially since he was going for those air units, which cost a lot more gas than a lot of the gateway units that you want to be getting out. So that one key mistake from Creator probably lost him the game.
Yeah, like just Creator there, just unable to go with it. He got so far behind in the early game, losing that Sentry, as you said earlier on. And yeah, that kind of, like, he also was able to just really abuse that scenario as well, moving the Zerglings at the right time. And yeah, when Creator moved all those units down to the lower part of the ramp, he just made himself so vulnerable for that extra bit of service area for those Zerglings to just come around, wrap around there, and really just do a ton of damage.
Yeah, and he knew the Nexus was gone. Like, once those Zerglings get into the base, you're not going to be able to push them back with the small force that you have. You need to cut your losses, cancel that Nexus, just defend your ramp until you can get the force to be able to move out, defend your ramp, and defend your Nexus at the same time. But it looked like he was trying to do it too soon, really didn't have what he needed, and just very unfortunate for him to lose that way.
Yeah. It was really impressive, those things. Luvsic there with that really miraculous creep spread, getting that third at when he did.
Yep.
And just moving on perpetually with that Queen. We did see that Stargate come in, but not into play per se too much. Did have those Void Rays out there, but really those Hydras were able to just snipe it out right there and then and there. So, yeah.
And it was very nice to see Luvsic's Zergling play. He was very, very active with those units. It forced the first Void Ray to back off without doing any damage at all. And then it positioned the Protoss army exactly where he wanted to, because he just ran in, put a little aggression on the third base of the Protoss when it was going up. It forced the army over to that side of the map, and then because of that, it left the natural very vulnerable to that final attack that ended up winning him the game.
Yeah, he was a bit out of position too while trying to grab that third base from those few Zerglings. And yeah, there was just a great moment to just move in there with that Hydra Roach army. It was a bit worrisome initially going into that, but he just like macroed up a storm and just moved right in there and went right for the kill. Yep.
So we are going to be seeing another match coming up here very soon. It is going to be Startail Hope Torture, previously known as Startail Rainbow, previously known as Startail Hope Torture.
Many names that return.
Yeah, and he will be playing against Linak in 5 minutes.
So break, guys. We'll be right back. Follow us on Twitter.